Everyone thought the ocean seemed to have swallowed them. All hopes were lost by every single family members of Naomi Hall and Jonah Wright, until a diver stumbled on a shocking clue in the reef. What he found next would shake the entire town, revealing a truth no one was ready for. Not a footprint, not a clue. Only one shocking discovery in the reef would reveal a truth no one was ready for. If you want to uncover the full story with me, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and don't forget to turn on the notification bell so you never miss the chilling mysteries we explore. The water was impossibly clear that morning. Too clear, almost unnatural. Veteran freediver Elias Monroe had been exploring the outer reefs near Driftfall Cove for years, mapping coral damage and photographing marine life. But he had never seen visibility like this. The sunlight slanted into the water in bright golden sheets, illuminating everything. The anemones swaying gently in the current, schools of silver fish darting between crevices, and the sprawling reef system stretching out like a sunken city. He dove deeper, his fins slicing the water with practiced ease. He was searching for nothing in particular, just exploring. But then he saw it. A shape. Something metallic wedged in the coral. At first he thought it was a piece of diving gear, maybe part of a mask or a fishing tool. But as he swam closer, he felt a sudden heaviness in his chest. Because the object wasn't just metal. It was circular, ornamental, a ring. He reached out, brushing away sand and algae. Gold. Engraved. A diamond still intact despite years underwater. But it was the engraving inside that made him jerk backward, nearly swallowing seawater through his snorkel. N+J, forever. His vision blurred. His hands trembled. Because he knew these initials. Everyone in Driftfall Cove knew these initials. They belonged to Naomi Hale and Jonah Wright, the newly engaged couple who vanished without a trace 5 summers ago. A disappearance so baffling, so agonizingly silent, that most people stopped talking about it. But this ring meant one thing. The ocean had finally given something back. And what it revealed would shatter the case in ways no one was prepared for. Warm, intuitive, and loved by everyone she met. Naomi was 26, a kindergarten teacher who dreamed of someday running a children's learning center. Her students adored her. Her colleagues said she had a laugh that could brighten the dullest classroom days. Her mother described her as sunshine with legs. She loved the ocean. She loved taking photos of shells and documenting the tides. She was happiest barefoot. Age 29. Quiet, composed, analytical. Jonah worked as a paramedic known for his calm under pressure. He loved chess, old vinyl records, and reading at night next to Naomi. He wasn't much of an adventurer, but Naomi's energy had a way of pulling him into small adventures. Weekend road trips, kayaking, even hiking trails he would never have tackled alone. They were opposites in the perfect way. She was the warmth. He was the anchor. Jonah proposed on a cliff overlooking their hometown. No elaborate setup. No crowd. Just the two of them and the sound of waves below. Naomi cried before he even opened the ring box. They weren't wealthy, but they didn't care. They wanted a small wedding and a lifetime of little moments. To celebrate the engagement, Naomi booked a secluded beach house on Driftfall Cove, a quiet rental overlooking the ocean. A place with no neighbors in sight, only dunes and sea grass. She said she wanted one weekend of just us. It would be the last place they were ever seen. The beach house at Driftfall Cove wasn't glamorous. It was old, built in the 1960s, with weathered planks and a porch overlooking a rugged stretch of coastline. But it was exactly Naomi's type of place, rustic, peaceful, authentic. They checked in on a Friday afternoon. Footage from the rental's old security camera showed them arriving, laughing, bumping hips as they carried their bags. Naomi twirled on the porch. Jonah pointed toward the ocean and kissed the top of her head. The last normal moment captured on camera. Saturday evening, 6:14 p.m. They grilled dinner on the porch. 7:02 p.m. Naomi took photos of the sunset. 8:49 p.m. They played cards at the outdoor table, Naomi winning most rounds. 10:11 p.m. Both walked toward the shoreline with blankets. The camera captured them walking onto the beach. After 5 minutes, the lantern light they carried faded from view. That was the last verified sighting. But what no one knew, until years later, was that 3 things happened that night. 1. A storm system moved unexpectedly toward the coast. Not a big one, but enough to agitate the tides. 2. A fishing vessel passed unusually close to shore. One that had changed its registration multiple times. 3. A man living half a mile from the beach house had been seen watching the coastline with binoculars. A man with a criminal history. But at the time, no one connected these threads. When the owners of the beach house arrived to clean between guests, they found both pairs of shoes neatly by the doorway, dinner plates still on the porch, Naomi's camera bag untouched, Jonah's inhaler on the table, the rental car still in the driveway, blankets partly buried in sand near the shore. But no Naomi, no Jonah, not a footprint, not a broken branch, not a sign of forced entry. The ocean was calm that morning, unnervingly calm. Authorities concluded the couple likely went swimming at night, got caught in a sudden pull from the storm, and drowned. Bodies sometimes never resurfaced, especially near reef systems. But the families rejected this immediately. Naomi was a strong swimmer but terrified of the ocean at night. Jonah couldn't swim well at all. He avoided deep water. And both left critical items behind. If they went for a midnight swim, why didn't they bring phones, towels, shoes? Naomi's camera that she brought everywhere? Jonah's inhaler, which he always carried when outdoors? Nothing fit. A local fisherman reported seeing a trawler near the cove late that Saturday night, too close to shore for legal operation. He described it as no visible registry, lights off, running slow. Authorities dismissed it as a misremembered detail. Half a mile from the beach house lived a reclusive man named Derek Varon, a former fisherman with a violent background, assault charges, restraining orders, and a reputation for unpredictable temper. Multiple residents said he used to watch hikers through binoculars, wander the beaches at night, shine flashlights toward water late in the evening. Police questioned him briefly the day after the couple vanished. He claimed he had been asleep. He also claimed he didn't know the couple existed. Both claims were later proven false. But at the time, authorities didn't push him. The case went cold after only 4 weeks. The families held memorials without bodies. The police closed the case. Online forums theorized everything: murder-suicide, staged disappearance, accidental drowning, abduction. But every theory fell apart. There was no evidence, no motive, no leads. Driftfall Cove quietly tried to forget, until Elias found the ring. Once the ring was confirmed as Naomi Hale's engagement ring, the investigation roared back to life. But the ring alone wasn't the most disturbing part. Elias told investigators something else, something he had been afraid to mention. When he removed the ring from the coral crevice, something else fell out behind it. A fragment of fabric. White, light, with delicate stitching. Naomi's mother later confirmed it matched the pattern of the blouse Naomi wore the night she vanished. But the true horror came 2 days later. A dive team returned to the site. They found a section of reef that appeared unnatural, coral growing over something that had been lodged into the rock years earlier. With careful extraction, divers removed 3 pieces of evidence. 1. A length of heavy rope with frayed ends. 2. A wristwatch confirmed to be Jonah's, stopped at 10:16 p.m. 3. A rusted metal anchor weight with fibers attached. This was no drowning. This was no accident. Someone had used weights. Someone had tied them. Someone had forced the bodies downward. With renewed scrutiny, detectives began reviewing the original suspects. Everything pointed, again, toward Derek. During a new search of his property, now owned by someone else, investigators uncovered a hidden basement room, old nautical equipment, multiple sets of binoculars, maps marking underwater channels, and most disturbingly, a notebook with sketches of the coastline. One sketch showed the exact stretch of beach where Naomi and Jonah disappeared. Another showed the reef where the ring was found. The notebook was dated 5 years earlier. Derek had mapped that reef. He knew where strong currents pulled, where bodies could be hidden, where evidence might never be found. But that still didn't prove what happened that night. Not until investigators found the tape. Deep in the basement of Derek's former home, behind insulation, detectives found a waterproof container. Inside, 2 memory cards. Most files had been corrupted by moisture. Except one. A video, time-stamped the night the couple vanished. It contained no visuals. Just audio. Waves. Wind. Footsteps. Naomi's voice. Jonah, someone's calling us. Who is that? A man's voice answered, distinct, gravelly. Derek Varen's voice. Then a struggle. A scream. A heavy splash. More splashes. Panicked breathing. And one final sound. Metal clinking against rock. The recording ended at 10:17 p.m. Jonah's watch had stopped at the exact same minute. Naomi and Jonah were sitting near the shoreline, wrapped in blankets, talking under the stars. Derek approached from the dunes, possibly intoxicated or delusional. He had a history of confronting beachgoers, especially women. He tried to interact. Naomi declined. Jonah told him to leave. Derek became aggressive. A confrontation escalated. He overpowered Jonah first, striking him with a heavy object. Naomi tried to run but was caught. Derek dragged them toward the water, forcing them into the shallows. He bound Jonah's wrists with rope, attached a weight, and dragged him deeper until the current seized him. He did the same to Naomi. The tide and storm concealed everything. In the days that followed, Derek returned to reinforce the hiding places with additional weights and tools, some of which later embedded into the reef. But storms, erosion, and natural movement gradually exposed Naomi's ring, which eventually lodged into a coral cavity. Without that tiny clue, the truth would have remained buried. There was only one problem. Derek Varen was dead. 6 months earlier, he had drowned while intoxicated, his body found floating near the marina. Authorities had chalked it up to an accident. Whether karma, fate, or coincidence, no one could say. He never faced justice. He never confessed. But the evidence was overwhelming, and the case was officially closed with full attribution of the murders to him. Naomi's mother received the ring. She held it against her heart and sobbed until she couldn't breathe. Jonah's family scattered flowers near the reef, thanking Elias for having the courage to bring the truth to light. The reef was renamed the Hailright Reef, honoring the couple. But Driftfall Cove would never forget. Whenever divers swim near the deep crevice where the ring was found, they swear they can feel a shift in the current, like the ocean whispering, "I remember." Because the sea doesn't hide everything forever. Sometimes it returns exactly what you need to uncover the truth.